Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us. Today we'll be exploring a really cool new piece of tech that's been generating some serious buzz.
Definitely a hot topic.
The Hanna Instruments HI98129.
Yes.
From what I've seen, this thing seems like a potential game changer for anyone working with water quality.
Could be.
But we're going to dive deep and figure out exactly what it can do and, more importantly, why you should care.
Sounds good.
And just a heads up, there is some honestly surprising features packed into this little device.
Yeah.
So the tagline that really caught my eye is low range pH conductivity TDS tester. What jumps out at you when you hear that? Who are they targeting with this device, and what kind of uses are they hinting at with that tagline?
Well, right off the bat, you know it's for water quality.
Definitely.
Hitting those three crucial measurements,
Yeah.
pH, conductivity, TDS. The low range part, though, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Suggests they're going after, folks who need those precise readings in environments where those values aren't super high. So think like testing drinking water or monitoring delicate ecosystems or even maybe some niche applications in a controlled lab setting.
Okay, so for those of us who maybe need a quick refresher, what exactly are pH, conductivity, and TDS?
You got it.
And why are they so crucial for so many different applications and fields?
Right. So pH is that classic measure of how acidic or alkaline something is.
Right.
Think like battery acid versus baking soda, that kind of scale.
Gotcha.
Conductivity basically tells us how well a solution can conduct electricity, which is a sneaky way to figure out how much stuff is dissolved in it, like salts and minerals.
Oh, okay.
Then there's TDS, which is literally just the total amount of all that dissolved stuff. And these three measurements, they're the backbone of tons of fields. Environmental monitoring, agriculture, water treatment, even making sure your home aquarium is healthy.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, totally.
So Hanna Instruments, they're making waves with this launch, right?
They are.
I heard they're also dropping some new benchtop meter kits at the same time as this. What does that tell you about them as a company?
Yeah, it definitely paints a picture of a company that's on the move. Clearly innovating, expanding their lineup, and they want to stay ahead of the curve in this space, which is always a good sign.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty of the HI98129 itself. One thing that really caught my eye is that it's waterproof, has a replaceable electrode, and is pocket-sized. Are they trying to make this the ultimate, go-anywhere water testing tool?
It seems that way. Think about what that means practically, right?
No.
Waterproof means you can take it out in the field. You don't have to worry about rain or spills. You can even dunk it underwater for readings if you need to.
Wow.
Replaceable electrode is huge for longevity.
Right.
You're not tossing the whole device if that part wears out, which is nice. And pocket-sized. Come on. That just screams convenience and portability.
So they really emphasize the replaceable pH electrode. And they even specifically call out this extendable cloth junction. To be honest with you, I'm a little fuzzy on what a cloth junction even is. Can you break down why this is such a big deal?
It's one of those small things that makes a big difference, Think of the junction as this tiny gate between the inside of the electrode and the water you're testing. It basically lets ions flow through, which is how the electrode figures out the pH. But over time, that junction can get gunked up.
Oh, okay.
Leading to inaccurate readings.
Yeah.
So that's where the extendable part comes in. It's like getting a fresh start on the junction, basically extending the electrode's life and keeping your data reliable.
That's great.
Plus, it's a win for the environment because you're not replacing the whole electrode as often.
Right. Speaking of accuracy, let's talk about the high accuracy EC and TDS ppm tester probe. They're really highlighting the graphite in this probe. What's so special about that, and what does amperometric even mean in this context?
Okay, so this is where the science gets really neat.
Okay.
Graphite is great for conductivity probes because it's super resistant to contamination from the stuff that's dissolved in water, especially salt deposits. That means you're getting more accurate and consistent readings over time, even if you're testing in environments with high mineral content. And amperometric, it just means it measures electrical current to figure out the conductivity.
So it's measuring the flow.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So then we get this whole list of features. Stability indicator, hold D button, BPS, battery level indicator, and auto off. Should we break down a few of those? What are some of the ones that stand out to you?
Yeah, definitely. They're all about, making life easier and making sure you get the best possible data.
All right, so let's start with the stability indicator. What is that all about, and why should we care?
Have you ever been, taking measurements and you're not sure if the reading has settled down yet?
Yeah, all the time.
The stability indicator takes the guesswork out of that. It gives you like a visual cue on the display to let you know when the measurement is stable and you're good to go. No more waiting an arbitrary amount of time or, second guessing your results.
That's handy. Okay, what about the Hold D button? That seems pretty self-explanatory, but is there more to it than meets the eye?
It is, but it's super useful, especially when you're out in the field, right? Picture this. You're taking readings in a tight spot, like reaching into a tank or a stream.
Okay.
It might be hard to see the display clearly, right?
Right.
Hitting that Hold D button freezes the reading so you can record it later when you're, in a better spot.
Right.
No more, contorting yourself or risking dropping the device just to get a good look.
Clever.
Right.
And then there's this BEPS thing. Sounds kind of like a superhero name, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
The battery error prevention system. What's that all about?
Yeah, so it kind of is a superhero for your data. Think about it. You're out in the field, maybe your battery's getting low.
Okay.
And you get a reading that seems off. Is it a real change in the water, or is the device just acting up because it's low on juice? BEPS prevents that uncertainty. If the battery's too weak to give you a reliable reading, it simply won't let you take one. It'll just shut itself off.
Oh, wow.
Protecting you from recording bad data.
That's pretty smart. And speaking of batteries, there's the battery level indicator. It seems pretty standard these days. Is there anything particularly special about it on this device?
It is a common feature, but incredibly valuable,
Right.
Especially out in the field. Imagine you're out in the middle of nowhere taking a series of, really important measurements and suddenly the device dies.
Not good.
Not fun. The battery level indicator prevents that. You can see, at a glance, how much juice you have left, giving you plenty of warning to swap in fresh batteries before it becomes a problem.
And last but not least, the auto off feature. What's the thinking behind that?
It's a simple feature, but it saves you from yourself.
We all need that sometimes.
We've all done it, right? You finish taking measurements, you get distracted, you set the device down without turning it off.
Yeah.
The auto-off feature takes care of that. It automatically powers down the HI98129 after 8 minutes of inactivity, saving battery life, making those batteries last even longer.
So they really thought about the practicalities of using this in the field, right?
Correct.
It's not just about the measurements themselves.
It's about the whole experience, making it smoother and more reliable.
Now, we've been talking about all these different measurements, pH, conductivity, TDS.
Yeah.
Is it just one sensor doing all that? I noticed they mentioned 3 sensors in a single tester. What are those sensors exactly, and how does that impact usability?
Yeah, you're right. It's not a one-size-fits-all sensor situation.
Okay.
The HI98129 has a dedicated pH electrode, an amperometric EC-TDS sensor, and an exposed temperature probe. Having all 3 of those in one device really streamlines the whole measurement process. You can grab all the data you need quickly and efficiently without juggling multiple instruments or worrying about calibrating separate probes.
And on top of all that, it's waterproof and even float. They specifically mentioned that in the description. Are they targeting clumsy researchers like me?
Well, I wouldn't say clumsy, but it's definitely a feature that offers peace of mind, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're working near water. Imagine you're taking readings from a boat or a dock, and the device slips out of your hand, sinks to the bottom. That's a potential data disaster. But if it floats, you can just scoop it right back up, no harm done.
And they highlight the wide pH range and this selectable EC to TDS conversion factor. Why are those important features for someone using this device?
Well, the wide pH range basically just means you can use it for a broader range of applications.
Makes sense.
It can handle everything from highly acidic solutions to very alkaline ones, gives you more flexibility in your research or monitoring activities. And that selectable conversion factor is all about accuracy. The relationship between EC and TDS isn't always, 1-to-1. It can vary depending on, what kind of dissolved solids are present in the water. So the HI98129 lets you fine-tune that conversion factor to make sure you're getting the most accurate TDS readings possible for your specific needs.
It's all about getting the most reliable data, no matter what you're testing. They also mentioned automatic temperature compensation.
Yes.
Can you explain why that's so crucial for accurate readings?
So temperature can be a really sneaky factor in these measurements. pH, conductivity, TDS, they're all affected by temperature fluctuations. So the automatic temperature compensation in the HI98129, it just takes care of that for you. constantly monitors the temperature of the water and adjusts the readings accordingly. So you get accurate results regardless of the water's temperature. You don't have to worry about those external factors messing with your data.
So they've built in these safeguards against, like, all sorts of potential pitfalls.
Exactly.
That's impressive.
They've really thought this through.
Let's shift gears for a second. I want to talk about the support that Hanna Instruments provides. I saw there's a detailed resources section on their website, even a downloadable product manual.
Oh, yeah.
What does that tell you about their approach to customer support?
It's a really good sign, I think. It shows that they're not just interested in, selling you a device and then leaving you to figure it out on your own.
Right.
They want you to succeed with it. They're providing all this information and these resources to empower you to use the HI98129 effectively. That detailed manual is a great example of that. It's like having a comprehensive guide right at your fingertips, walking you through every aspect of the device. Basic operation, troubleshooting tips, everything.
I like that. It's like they're giving you the tools to be successful.
Exactly.
And there's a whole section on their website dedicated to keeping extra testing supplies on hand.
Oh, yeah. They have everything.
They list things like cleaning solution, storage solution, a replacement tool, even spare pH sensors. Anything stand out to you about that?
What I like about that is they're not just selling you the device, they're creating a whole ecosystem around it. By offering all these essential accessories and consumables, they're making it easy to keep your HI98129 running smoothly for years to come.
So you're not scrambling to find compatible cleaning solutions or replacement parts from different vendors.
Exactly. It's all right there, ready to go. It streamlines the whole process and makes sure you're using the right supplies to keep your device in top condition.
Okay, so let's wrap up this first part of our deep dive. We started with a price point of $209.99.
Not bad.
Taking into account everything we've discussed, the features, the accuracy, the durability, the support, what's your overall assessment of the HI98129's value proposition?
I mean, based on what we've seen, it appears to be a well-designed, feature-rich, and durable instrument. And the combination of accuracy, versatility, and that long-term usability, I think it makes it a really compelling option for a lot of users. Anyone serious about portable water quality analysis, this device seems to offer excellent value for money. You're getting a lot of bang for your buck.
That's high praise from the expert. We've covered a lot of ground already, but there's still so much more to explore with the HI98129.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot more to talk about, definitely. This thing really is packed with features.
So we've talked about the tech specs, the features, the support, but I want to get your take on the bigger picture. How does a device like this fit into the broader context of water quality monitoring? What kind of impact could it have, do you think?
That's a great question. And it really gets to the heart of, why this kind of technology is so important right now. We're facing some, pretty serious challenges when it comes to water.
Right.
Pollution, scarcity, climate change, you name it. And to address these challenges effectively, we need accurate, reliable data.
Totally.
But traditional water quality monitoring can be, pretty cumbersome, expensive. You often need bulky equipment, specialized labs, trained technicians. It's not always easy to get data from remote locations or respond quickly to, changing conditions.
So a device like the HI98129 could really shake things up a bit.
Absolutely. By making water quality testing more portable, affordable, user-friendly, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
Like what?
Well, imagine citizen scientists, right, collecting data from their local streams and rivers, farmers monitoring irrigation water in real time, researchers tracking changes in, delicate ecosystems, and they can do all this with, unprecedented ease.
I could see that.
Yeah, this kind of accessibility to data can be a real game changer for, how we understand and manage our water resources.
So it's not just about the tech itself. It's about the potential for positive impact on a larger scale.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so exciting, right?
Yeah.
We're not just talking about incremental improvements here.
Right.
We're talking about the potential to really democratize water quality data, engage communities, and ultimately, drive more informed decision-making around this precious resource.
I'm picturing a whole army of citizen scientists armed with these devices, collecting data and, actually making a real difference.
And that's not just, some far-off dream.
Right.
We're already seeing a rise in these citizen science initiatives, focused on water quality. A device like this could be a really powerful tool in those efforts.
So it's empowering communities to, like, take ownership of their water resources and actually advocate for change.
Totally. And that's what makes it so exciting. We're not just talking about, incremental improvements.
Right.
We're talking about the potential to, really democratize water quality data, engage communities, and ultimately drive better decision-making around this precious resource.
Now, I know we've been focusing on this specific device, but I'm curious to get your perspective on kind of like the broader trends in water quality monitoring. Where do you see the field heading in the next, 5-10 years? What other exciting developments are on the horizon?
Well, one trend that I find really fascinating is this move towards real-time monitoring. Traditionally, water quality data was collected, kind of periodically.
Right.
Maybe once a month, once a week, even less frequently in some cases.
Yeah.
But with all these advances in, sensor technology and data transmission, we're now able to get continuous real-time insights into, all these different water quality parameters.
So instead of taking like snapshots, we're getting a constant stream of information.
Exactly. And that can be incredibly valuable for understanding how, water quality fluctuates over time, identifying problems early on, making more informed decisions about, water management. Imagine like a network of sensors deployed throughout a watershed, right? Continuously monitoring key parameters, pH, conductivity, temperature, even things like, nutrient levels and dissolved oxygen.
It's like having a finger on the pulse of the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And this kind of real-time monitoring can have, significant implications for everything from drinking water safety to ecosystem health to agricultural practices.
Are there any specific technologies or applications within that realm of real-time monitoring that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, one area I'm keeping a close eye on is the use of remote sensing and satellite imagery for water quality monitoring.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this technology lets us collect data over huge areas,
Yeah.
even in remote or hard to reach locations. And by analyzing the light that's reflected from the water's surface, we can actually get insights into things like, turbidity, chlorophyll concentration, even the presence of harmful algal blooms.
So we're talking about monitoring water quality from space.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's incredible.
And it has the potential to really revolutionize how we monitor large bodies of water, lakes, reservoirs, coastal areas. Imagine being able to, track the spread of pollution plumes or detect early signs of harmful algal blooms or even just assess the overall health of an aquatic ecosystem, all from hundreds of miles away.
So we're moving towards this future where water quality data is more accessible, more frequent, more comprehensive than ever before.
Exactly.
What does that mean for, the average person?
Right.
How does this impact our lives beyond, the realm of, science and research?
Well, I think one of the most significant impacts will be just, an increased awareness and understanding of water issues in general. As this data becomes more readily available, people will be better equipped to really understand, the challenges facing their local water resources. And hopefully that'll lead to more informed decisions about how we all use and protect water.
So it's about empowering people to be more, water conscious and to advocate for, better water management practices.
Absolutely. And, it's about fostering that sense of shared responsibility for this really precious resource. We all depend on clean, safe water, and we all have a role to play in protecting it. By making data more accessible, more engaging, I think we can create a more informed and empowered citizenry ready to tackle, the water challenges of the 21st century.
That's a powerful vision and hopeful one, too. So we've gone from, the specifics of this innovative device to the broader trends shaping the future of water quality monitoring. But I want to kind of bring it back to you, the listener, for a moment. We've explored, the technical details, the potential impact, these exciting possibilities. What resonates most with you? What questions or thoughts does this spark for you? We've seen how a device like this can really empower researchers, citizen scientists, all those folks.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm thinking about the educational possibilities, too. Imagine students using this, in their classrooms or even out in the field, getting that hands-on experience with, real-world science.
It's a fantastic way to, bring science to life. Instead of just reading about pH and conductivity in a textbook, they can actually go out and measure those things,
Right.
in their local environment, collect data, analyze it. It just makes learning so much more engaging.
It's one thing to read about water quality issues, but it's another thing entirely to, see them firsthand. to actually measure them, to understand the science behind them.
For sure. And it goes beyond just, understanding the science. It helps foster that sense of stewardship, a connection to the environment when students are actively involved in, monitoring and protecting their local water resources. They become invested in their long-term health.
It's not just about learning the facts. It's about inspiring action.
Right.
Creating the next generation of, water stewards.
I completely agree. And that's ultimately what we need, right? People who are, passionate about water, who understand the challenges, and who are willing to work towards solutions.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. From the technical specs of the HI98129 to those broader trends in water quality monitoring to that potential for positive impact, on a global scale.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating journey, for sure.
Before we wrap up, I want to circle back to the beginning for a sec. Remember that tagline we started with? Low-range pH conductivity TDS tester. We've unpacked what those measurements mean, why they're important, how this device makes them so accessible. But I want to hear from you. What are some specific scenarios where you see this device being used? Paint us a picture.
Okay, well, one scenario that immediately comes to mind is a group of students, maybe studying the health of their local stream, armed with their HI98129s, taking measurements at different points along the stream, comparing the data, trying to figure out if there are any, areas of concern. Maybe they notice a sudden drop in pH or a spike in conductivity downstream from, a factory or something. They can use that data to raise awareness, advocate for change, maybe even work with, local authorities to address the issues.
Sounds like a real-world example of citizen science in action.
Exactly. And it's not just limited to, students.
Right.
Imagine, a community group monitoring the water quality of their local lake. Or a farmer testing irrigation water, to optimize their crop yields. Or even just a homeowner, checking the quality of their well water. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
And that's what's so exciting about this technology, right?
Yeah. It puts the power of, scientific inquiry in the hands of everyday people, empowers them to actually make a difference.
It's democratizing access to scientific tools and knowledge.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, I think it's time for us to surface from this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed, exploring these ideas with you.
A huge thank you to our expert for sharing their insights and expertise with us today.
You're welcome.
And to you, dear listener, thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you've come away with a deeper understanding of this fascinating world of water quality monitoring and the tools that are shaping its future. And remember,